guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnell. This is ACWSport. And now that the international break is over, we can finally start talking about the Premier League again. So here are my predictions for week 4 of the 2017-2018 Premier League season, kicking off with the monster game of the weekend. And I've got to say, there are some cracking games on this weekend, but it all starts at the Etihad with the biggest game of them all, Liverpool travelling to Manchester City. Now going into this game, both teams are locked on 7 points. They're both unbeaten, and they both look very, very threatening when going forward. But I do think one team is going to lose their unbeaten start to the season, and I predict Liverpool to come away from the Etihad with all 3 points. I'm going Liverpool 3, Manchester City 2 in a very high-scoring game. Klopp has never lost to a top 6 side since he came to Liverpool in the Premier League, and I reckon he will hold on to that record after this weekend as well. You know, both teams, I know there are question marks from pundits and fans alike over both teams' defence, but for me, Liverpool have got all the confidence and momentum going into this fixture. You've got to remember, if it wasn't for that opening day dodgy decision by the Lino, that he gave the offside goal to Watford to see them draw 3-0, Liverpool will be joint top of the Premier League with Manchester United now on 9 points. They destroyed Arsenal at Anfield last time out. And also they had a fantastic end to the transfer market, bringing in the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita for next season. So for me, Liverpool got all the confidence about them. City have had a bit of an indifferent start. And the reason I say indifferent is because this is definitely not the start Pep would have wanted. He wanted one that, you know, they would have blown teams away and really looked threatening. Instead, they've kind of struggled, dropped points, obviously, to the likes of Everton. Would have dropped points to Bournemouth if it wasn't for the weird, you know, few added minutes that were added on at the very end there. So I see Liverpool coming into this game with a momentum and taking all 3 points from the Etihad. So that's why I'm going for Manchester City 2, Liverpool 3. On to the 3 o'clock kickoff, starting off at Leicester. And Leicester host the champions Chelsea. Now, Leicester against Manchester United and Arsenal were very, very good, but they just came up short to the better quality. And I honestly think it's going to be exactly the same this weekend. I'm going Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2, predicting Morata to get on the score sheet. And yeah, I just think after their opening weekend blip to Burnley, Chelsea very much look like themselves again. And yeah, I just see them continuing, you know, now and kind of, you know, progressing on from last season. I know they brought in some players like Drinkwater and that weren't exactly their first choice targets. But I do think they have a better squad than they did last season. And I see them really kicking on now. Now that the transfer window's over, they can put all the drama behind them, minus Diego Costa maybe. So yeah, Leicester City 1, Chelsea 2. On to Goodison Park and 2 teams who I think at this stage of the season are pretty much at the same level. And that is Everton versus Tottenham. And that's why I'm going for Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Everton have made some great signings. Tottenham made some great signings on the last day as well, bringing in the likes of Llorente. And at this stage of the season, because both of them haven't quite made the perfect starts they would have hoped for, I'm going for the 2-2 draw here and for the points to be shared. On to the Emirates, and obviously this is probably the biggest talking point of the weekend, really, because all eyes are going to be on the Emirates after that awful display at Anfield and the loss of Oxlade-Chamberlain, the whole Sanchez saga now being over, for now anyway. Bournemouth put in a very spirited performance against Manchester City. We're unlucky to not come away with a point. And again, I think it will be very much the same kind of performance here. I'm predicting Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 1. Yeah, I think Sanchez will actually be able to silence any critics. If he plays, I'm predicting he will score. I'm predicting Lacazette to get on the score sheet as well for Arsenal. But yeah, I just think they're going to have too much class for Bournemouth, even though Bournemouth will put in a spirited performance. So 2-1 to Arsenal over Bournemouth for me. On to the first kind of mid-table clash of the weekend for me in terms of how these 2 teams have started the season. That's Southampton versus Watford. And again, 2 teams that I'm predicting will draw because I feel that they are pretty much on the same level. So I'm going Southampton 1, Watford 1. Brighton versus West Brom. I'm predicting Brighton to get their first goal in, you know, their history in the Premier League. But overall, I think West Brom will just have too much quality for them. Pulis and his side have made such a good start to the season. So I reckon they're going to carry that on. I'm going for Brighton 1, but West Bromwich Albion 2. On to the 5:30 kickoff now. And now I know that last season Manchester United won their first 3 games, and everyone was like, oh, you know, they could really push on. They're looking like the same side that, you know, last won the league under Fergie. But after the international break, they crumbled a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. They look like a different team entirely. They look to have so much more confidence about them. Jose seems to have his swagger back. And even though Stoke are, it's probably one of the most feared away days in the Premier League, I just think United have got too much class for Stoke. So I'm going Stoke City 1, Manchester United 3. I'm going for Lukaku, Rashford, and either Martial or Pogba to get on the score sheet for United, and Hesse to get on the score sheet for Stoke. But I'm convinced Man United are going to maintain their 100% winning start to the Premier League season. On to Sunday, and kicking off at Turf Moor, I'm going Burnley 2, Crystal Palace 0, just because Palace have made such a woeful start to the season. Even though Burnley lost the last home game, I reckon that they'll be able to use this game as an opportunity to turn Turf Moor into a fortress again, because that was one of the key reasons as to why they stayed up last season. And I think this is kind of the perfect fixture for them after the international break. So Burnley 2, Crystal Palace 0 for me. On to the 4 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, Swansea versus Newcastle. Two teams that, again, I think are very, very even. I'm very excited about seeing Wilfred Bonney back in a Swansea shirt because he was quality for them when he played for them. And Renato Sanchez. We finally get to see what this wonder kid is all about. I think it's a great move for him, moving to a team that could be either facing relegation or a mid-table finish for me this season, based on the way they've started and the fact Paul Clement, I think, is a very good manager. So for him to really show what he's like in a tough battle, in the most physical and, in my opinion, the best league in the world, is a great move for him at such a young age. So let's see what this wonder kid is all about. But I'm going Swansea 2, Newcastle 2 at the Liberty. I think the points will be shared. And finally, on Monday night, I'm predicting West Ham to beat Huddersfield 3-1 and pick up their first points of the season, easing some of the pressure on Bilic and really kickstarting West Ham's season. I think Hernandez will score in front of his home fans. I know I've said that pretty much every week, but the reason I'm predicting Hernandez to score so much is because, for me, out of all the players that I've seen play for West Ham so far this season, in terms of the highlights of the fixtures in general, listening to other commentators, pundits, fans, Hernandez does seem to be the only one that is really giving everything for West Ham. So, that's why I reckon he'll get on the score sheet again. I reckon Huddersfield will lose their unbeaten start to the season at the London Stadium. So they're my predictions for week 4 of the Premier League. Do you agree with my predictions? Please comment below, let me know. As always, please don't forget to subscribe to ACWSport, and I will see you after the weekend where we can review all of the goals and action from week 4 of the 2017-2018 Premier League season.